So good afternoon. How are you? Why you people are joining late? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Better please join at on time, right?
No, sir, we didn't know about the link.
Link I have already sent you. Same link we'll be using every time.
Okay, sir.
Only last time it was problem due to some password problem. Otherwise, I use same link, right? Anyhow, so yeah. So what we were discussing in the last lecture? Yes, who will tell? Yes, what we discussed in the last lecture. Anyone?
सर स्पेसिफिक स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ निकल एलॉय जो ज़्यादातर यूज होता है.
We only discuss about the specific strength of the nickel alloy. Huh? Okay. Anyhow, so you please go through what we discussed in the last lecture. Right. So we were here, and let's move ahead. Yeah. So if you see this one, yeah. So we have different elements. If we are putting those elements in the pure titanium, right, then we can vary their, beta isomorphous temperature, or what we say, the transformation range. We can differ, right? We can vary. So at room temperature, this is particularly about titanium, right? So pure titanium is having at room temperature HCP structure, that is hexagonal closed pack structure, and at around above 862 degree or 882 degrees Celsius, above that, it converts into which structure? BCC structure, right? Body center cubic structure, right? And at room temperature, it is HCP. So by adding different elements, right? You can see few elements are alpha stabilizing, few are beta stabilizing, but particularly they are known as beta isomorphous, and few are beta eutectoid elements. So these are the different allying elements, right? If we add into pure titanium, so we already know that if you want to change the property of any particular material, any metal, right? You want to, change its mechanical properties. Then how you can change? So either you can by alloying, you can change the property, or by cold working, you can improve the properties. And what is the third one? By
Heat
heat
treatment.
treatment, you can you can vary the properties. So similarly for this advanced material titanium, but alloying we can change its mechanical properties, or uh, we can change even the temperature range of conversion from HCP to BCC, right? Now if you see aluminium, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, these are alpha stabilizing elements, right? So they are going to stabilize this particular phase. And molybdenum, vanadium, for example, maximum time people are using Ti 6Al4V titanium alloy, right? So where aluminium comes under, now you can say that alpha stabilizing element, right? From now today onwards, if somebody asks you, and this vanadium, that is 4% vanadium, it comes under which category?
Beta.
Yeah, it's a beta stabilizing element of particularly beta isomorphous category, right? So these are the different elements which affects differently in when we mix them in the titanium. Few increases its formability, few improves its machinability, right? Few improves its hardness, few hardenability, right? Depending upon the characteristics or it improves the particular property of the titanium. Now, this is the Boeing 380 aircraft. So, as we discussed in the last time, we particularly discussed about this particular part, right? What is the name of this part? This is particularly this part. This part here. It comes over here. This is the engine, right? Here, this part. So we discussed about this part in the previous lecture, right? And what are the different materials and where we use. So basically you have seen that in the previous lecture that in this particular engine part, we have compressor, combustor and turbine, right? So in the compressor part, basically we use this titanium alloy, right? You can see over here. And 6,4, now you can say that 6 is percentage of aluminium and 4 is percentage of vanadium. Similarly, in other titanium alloys, we are having different percentage of different elements, right? And in combustion chamber, we have different types of nickel-based super alloys, right? And in turbine also, we have super alloys we use. So basically, in these two parts, where temperature is very high, we use which material? Use super alloys. And this is the fuselage part, right? Skin panel, wing box, right? Cockpit window frame. So here also we use titanium in few parts, but mainly we use composites in making the structural part of the aircraft nowadays. 50% almost is percentage of composite, which we have used in Boeing Airbus 380, right? But mainly in engine as well as in landing gear also, we are using titanium alloys, right? So here this is tail cone. Again, you can see that exhaust gases are coming out from here, right? So this material must be made up of some kind of refractory material or super alloys, right? Mainly because temperature is very high. In combustion chamber, you can see that it's almost 2000 degrees Celsius nowadays. So aerospace companies are eyeing on increasing this temperature, right? So that they can increase the efficiency of the aircraft. Anyhow, so this is the, basically about the titanium alloy, where we use titanium and nickel based alloys. So this is very important that things must be very much clear to you, right? When we'll be discussing about the machining of these things, then you must be knowing about the importance of these alloys, right? Why we are discussing about the machining of these alloys? Because of their utmost importance for the aerospace, marine, power plant. In power plant also, where we are using turbines, right? So in all these crucial applications, right? Aerospace, space, biomedical, right? Because of their exceptional properties, we are using these materials, and that's why manufacturing of these materials also comes into picture, wherein welding and machining are the most important manufacturing processes, one of the most important. So now, as you have seen now till now, from there these things must be very much clear to you. That is the main requirements in materials for gas turbines. So what are the main requirements? They must be having high melting point, good oxidation or corrosion behavior, high temperature performance, microstructural stability at high temperature. They must be having low density, high stiffness, easy to process. This is very important because at the end you have to manufacture, right? And they must be economic and they must produce reliable performance. Now here you can see a few of the properties and typical applications of wrought titanium alloys, right? So this is having a pure, almost pure titanium alloy, right? And we have in different heat treatment conditions like annealed. Then we have solution treatment plus aging condition, right? So you can say that by solution treatment and aging, you can improve the ultimate tensile strength or yield strength of a material to a great extent, right? By aging process. You must have learned this in BTech, but if you'll say me, we can again discuss, right? But here you can see that if you are using pure titanium, so pure titanium typical applications are in airframes, chemical desalination and marine parts, plate type heat exchangers, right? And Ti6Al4V, which we were discussing, right? So you can see that if at different anneal temperatures, different heat treatment temperatures, we are getting different mechanical properties. You can see. Right, and they are being used in rocket motor cases, blades and discs of aircraft turbines you have seen, right, in the last lecture as well as in today also, and compressors, orthopedic implants or structural forgings. When it comes to solution treatment and aging, right, then you can see that the mechanical properties have increased dramatically, right? Okay. So this is, just an overview for you people. Now, in nutshell, we can say that titanium attributes for aerospace industry because of its high strength to weight ratio. Do you agree with me now? Things are very much clear to you. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So they are, uh, we are saving weights in our aircraft primarily as a steel replacement, or it improves the space limitations, right? We can replace aluminum alloys with them. Operating temperatures, we can replace these alloys, right, with titanium. Then the beautiful thing about the titanium is that it is corrosion resistant, right? So in aircraft, you can use it at the lavatory also, at the toilets, right? And you can use it mainly in the marine applications. In the oil and gas industry, pipelines, you can use it, right? It's beautiful material, right? Highly corrosion resistant. Once you have made these pipelines or these setups in sea, under sea with titanium, then forget about it. No maintenance, almost nil maintenance, right? For years to come. Then the other beautiful thing about titanium is its composite, its compatibility with the composite, right? Which aluminium is not having. So due to this important material, it is highly being used with the composite in the aircraft. And this is my favorite aircraft, which I told you in the first lecture. Which aircraft is this?
Blackbird.
Yeah, Blackbird. So please go through about this aircraft. It's really beautiful. So whenever you are learning about titanium, you must read about this aircraft, right? Anyhow, so titanium is just one material. Our main focus is on the machining, but its importance must be tell to the students why we are going to machine it. Then another important property is that it's low Young's modulus, right? So, but these are its very important properties which makes it attractive for the aerospace companies. But but the thing is that it is having the poor machinability, right? It's highly chemical reactive material, high chemical reactivity. It's having poor thermal conductivity. We'll see what happens due to all these properties, right? It's having low modulus of elasticity. So it produces a lot of vibrations while we are working with this material. It's very difficult to machine this particular material. And another is that it's maintain its strength at elevated temperatures, which makes it difficult to machine material, right? Now you see this video and keep these poor machinability conditions in mind, and then watch this particular material. This video is of our lab of IIT RAM workshop, right? So now forward, most of the time I will be giving you the examples, latest examples from our lab, which you will not find in the books, because books have, they wrote books so many years back. So for fundamentals, we'll study books, but to see the, real applications, latest applications, we'll be seeing what we have done in our lab, right, for different projects. And this particular example is shown to, this video is made by one of our students. Right? So tell me if it is visible to you, video, and it is audible to you also. It is audible to you?
Yes, sir.
So you can see that what is happening at the cutting zone, right? So please look it carefully and keep on reading these poor machinability characteristics, keeping all these things in your mind. So what you observed,
Very good morning.
hello, anyhow. My computer screen is visible to you? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You people don't answer quickly. Anyhow, so what is this material? This plate? This is your Ti6Al4V, right? And this is your drill bit, right? It is made up of, it's a carbide bit, a tungsten carbide drill bit, you can say, right? And which operation we are performing? We are performing drilling process, right? Now drilling is very common process in aircraft industry. We need productivity. Every time you cannot drill these holes by using non-conventional machining processes, right? With such a thick plates of around 4 mm, 5 mm, right? So we need to focus on the conventional machining processes. But with if you see that if you start machining this particular material, what is happening? Due to highly chemical reactivity, you can see what is happening. It is having the poor thermal conductivity. So due to poor thermal conductivity, what is happening? So chips are coming out from the cutting zone, right? This is your cutting tool, right? So here machining is taking place. This is your shearing zone. Now in this particular material, what is happening? In your BTech, you have studied that 80% of the heat is being taken away by the chip. But now you forget that. But when you are machining titanium, so what is happening due to its poor thermal conductivity of this material? So whatever heat is being generated, it is staying over here in this zone. This is your primary shear zone, and this is your secondary shear zone. And here you are having tertiary shear zone, right? So heat is being focused over here, and this is the reason that here it's very difficult. It becomes difficult for us. Temperature rise is very too much, and due to high chemical reactivity, you can see that chip caught fire immediately, and because of low modulus of elasticity, it starts vibrating also. Tool starts vibrating also, and the material is maintaining its good strength at elevated temperatures. So all these factors when combined makes this material difficult to machine. Is it clear now why titanium machining is difficult? Or shall I show you this video again? Yes, please tell me.
No, sir.
Okay, fine.
Hello, sir.
Yes, beta.
Sir, what is the reaction in the drill bit, sir? Can you explain in that?
Beta, here reaction is that it is very, this particular material is having high affinity to oxygen, right? And because of this particular condition, poor thermal conductivity, right? Heat, whatever heat is being generated, it is going to remain over there, right? And when it combines this particular thing also, that is its high chemical reactivity with the other elements, this titanium with oxygen, right? This makes this chip to catch fire. Both of these things combined. You're getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, you know that for each cutting process, what are the objectives? Objective is to, when we are concentrated about the product quality, right? So when you are concentrated about the product quality, then surface finish and dimensional tolerances. These two things are of utmost importance to us. Yes or no? And we, as an industry, right? So industry is very much focused about productivity. Right? Productivity. And how you can improve the productivity? Either you can increase the material removal rate or you can reduce the tool wear. right? And then in the cutting process, physics of cutting is very important. That is its mechanics, right? And another important thing is force and power, which are coming into picture, because these, with the help of these things, you can find out the energy consumption, and through this you can find out the carbon emissions involved in machining process, right? So these are the latest things which people are nowadays doing research for these issues, right? So in the books you will not find these kind of things, right? Whatever book you will study, you will find out the basic things, but these things I will teach you from our research publications, right? But before that, a strong foundation is required, so I'm just building that. Do you want me to discuss the basic things along with the advanced things, or only advanced things? Please tell me. Hello.
Sir, both.
Okay, fine, fine. So then industry, whenever you are working in industry, they are very much concerned about the tool materials. It's a multi-billion industry. It's multi-billion industry, right? Big industry, huge cutting tool industry. And then finally, design for manufacturing. Once all these things are, you have very much, control over these things. Now, whenever we are talking about cutting processes, two important processes comes into picture. One is orthogonal cutting, right? Another is oblique cutting. Now, orthogonal cutting is a, simpler one. Its mechanics is simpler one, right? That's why, merchant circle when you study. So merchant, did a lot of experiments, and in his very good research paper in 1945 around, he gave his merchant's theory. So if you want to you know learn directly from the merchant, right, merchant circle, then you must go through its research paper on merchant circle diagram.
Hello, sir.
It was published in 1945 and another paper in 1946.
हेलो
Hello, yes beta.
सर स्लाइड कौन सी है अभी
Cutting process is beta.
मतलब नंबर स्लाइड नंबर अभी दिख नहीं रही है इसलिए
30 beta.
29 दिख रही है सर अभी
सर स्टक है स्लाइड, आपका स्क्रीन स्टक है अभी।
Oh, अरे इतनी देर बाद बताया तुमने। Anyhow, no problem. Let me check. No problem. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay. Okay. The slide number 30. This is right. Okay. Fine. So here, people are saying it here. So you are moving over this direction. So basically, this is your uncut chip thickness. It's written over depth of cut. You take it as uncut chip thickness. That is the most appropriate term, right? This T naught. Okay. So rake angle is this. So this is a basic, orthogonal cutting on a lathe. So this is your feed direction. This is your which direction? You can say going direction from here. You can see. So you are getting this kind of view, and this is your shear plane, and phi is your shear angle. Okay. So cutting forces is in above direction, FC component, and thrust component is in the feed direction. This thing is, you must be, very much clear in merchant circle. People solve numericals by cramming the merchant circle But actually when I took them on the machine, then they are not able to tell me that what are the different forces which are acting and where they are acting, right? So here you can see that thrust force is acting in this direction and cutting force is direct in the above direction. So we have, this is the orthogonal machining, so we are having only two component of forces. One is thrust component and another is cutting force component. So when you will come in the lab at IIT RAM, or even if after completing your MTech, if you will go to any higher institution abroad for doing research in, suppose in machining, right? Then you will be come across to a equipment that is called dynamometer. So with the help of dynamometer, you can directly measure these component of forces, right? And that is, you can say, experimental to experimentation. You can measure the values of FC, F, and FT. And another way is by analytical. And how you can measure? Through merchant circle. These values, right? And third way is by numerical, right? For that, in our lab we have Deform software, Deform 3D, or you can also use ANSYS, right, to find out the values of these parameters. And this is the shear angle and this is the shear plane, right? So this is very important actually. So this velocity diagram we have already studied, right? So I'm giving you a glimpse, because whenever you are doing the research, these fundamentals will always be helpful. Whether you are working in my lab in India, whether you are working in my friend's lab in Russia, in USA, in European countries like in England, Slovenia, Poland, right? So wherever you are working, fundamentals are only this. So we build our research on all these basic things, right? Right now I am telling you all these basic things, and maybe in the next lecture I'll introduce you to the research publications, and then we'll correlate all these things, right? So you will appreciate that once you are having strong grip on the fundamentals, strong grip, right? Not only just by cramming these formulas, what is physics behind that? Then you are eligible to work in the lab and do a wonderful research, right? Now here you can see that whenever machining is taking place, three velocities are coming into picture, right? What is that? This is your VC, here is your chip velocity, right? This Vs is your shearing velocity, and this V is your cutting velocity. So three velocities are coming out, right? So here your chip is moving like this, right? And this way. So this is your chip velocity, right? It is moving in this direction. Yes or no? Your shearing is taking place in this direction, right? And cutting is taking place in this direction. So we have made a velocity diagram and we get these values. Okay. And this is the Ernest Merchant's cutting diagram, which you have already done in your BTech. And here also Shubham already, he has done under me this thing. He has studied this course, manufacturing processes. So he knows that how we have, derived all these equations right from the beginning, right? From free body diagram of the chip. So you can draw a free body diagram of the chip, and then you can find out these different cutting forces which are acting, one on the shear plane, another on the between the. So there actually what is happening here, one interface is between chip and cutting tool, all right, So these components are coming into picture. Here, these components are coming into picture. This is between chip and workpiece, right? And cutting force component, which is this one, red one. So this is between your, you can say, workpiece and cutting tool. This component. Okay, so just by combining, we know how we generated this Merchant circle. So this is very important, basic fundamental. And then we find out the shear angle, right? And how shear angle is related with the shearing force and area. So here you know that this is your, which is inclined at phi. This plane is called your, this plane is called your, which is inclined at phi degree. We call this plane as, yes, we say shear plane.
Shear plane.
Right? So this shear plane is at angle phi. So here cutting is taking place. This is the workpiece. Your tool is moving in this direction, right? And shearing is taking place in along the shear plane. So how we deduce this formula? That is maximum shear stress. So tau is there. So shear stress is your force per unit area. So force, shear force is acting here, Fs, and As is your area of shear plane. As is your, you can say that, shear plane area. So if you want to calculate shear plane area, so here we are replacing As with A upon sine phi, right? How we are replacing? So we have this plane over here, right? Okay. So suppose this plane is having area A. Now what is sine phi? Sine phi is equal to perpendicular upon hypotenuse. That is A upon As. So your As will become A upon sine phi. Is it clear? So
Yes,
this
sir.
is the way you
Yes.
get shear stress. And then you take its derivative and then you can solve it. Okay. Then very important terminology comes into picture whenever we are talking about the machining. That is the power. So what is power? Okay, now you will tell me three important things. What is work? What is power? What is energy? Right? Okay, now please tell me. Because we are going to deal with, you will see that a lot of research is, people are doing in this direction nowadays. It's very important. Very few people are there who are working on saving, how to save energy in manufacturing processes. So if you are having good hand in this, so you will be very much employable in the industry. Mainly high value manufacturing industry. Right? Yes. So what is work, power and energy? Who will tell me? What is work?
Capacity to do work.
Work is capacity to do work. Hmm? What you said? Hmm? Yes, who will tell?
So work is external force into the displacement.
Okay. So we measured in distance force units, right? So this you are saying when it is acting along a straight path, straight line, you can say, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah, so here no time element is there when we are talking about work, right? Now what is power?
So work upon time, work per unit time.
So work in simple language, you say that power is the rate at which work is done, right? At which rate you are working. That is very important. Here time factor is coming, right? So work per unit time, as you said, because time factor is very important here, right? How fast you are doing. So if you are machining at very high speed, right? Doing machining at high speed, so your power consumption will be more, right? Because you are working more per unit time. You are machining more per unit time. Are you getting my point? What I want to say.
Yes.
And what is energy?
ability to do work.
Ability to do work. Okay, so what is the difference between energy and power then? Okay, if I tell you in simple language, is energy depends upon the cutting speed? Please tell me all these things you will not get directly in the books, right?
Potential energy.
What are you saying? Please speak a little louder. भाई बताओ. I'm not asking you very hi-fi thing. Work, power, energy only, which you have studied in 7th, 8th, 9th standard perhaps. Energy depends upon cutting speed or not? If your cutting speed is high, energy will be more or less?
More, sir. It directly proportional.
Suppose I give you that you need to machine, suppose 2 meter cube of any particular material, right? Okay, suppose 2 meter cube of titanium you need to machine. It's a big material is there, right? And you are going to use this titanium slab in one of the aircraft, right? Now, if you're machining this at 3 different cutting speeds, suppose at 40 meter per minute, the same material at 60 meter per minute, and third at 80 meter per minute, right? Now you need to reduce it to 1 meter cube, from 2 meter cube to, or suppose 0.5 meter cube, right? And you are machining at 40 meter per minute, 60 meter per minute, 80 meter per minute, and all other parameters are same. So where more energy will be consumed, in which of particular case? Yes, Shubham.
Sir, 80 meter per minute.
80 meter per minute. Are you sure? Okay, now I add one more thing in my question. In which case, more power will be consumed. As Shubham is saying that more energy will be consumed in the case of 80 meter per minute. Then in which case more power will be consumed?
40
मीटर पर मिनट।
Okay, someone is saying 40 meter per minute. Now, what is energy? As somebody said, ability to do work, right? Now, in all the cases, you are doing the same amount of work. Yes or no? When you are reducing a cube of 2 meter cube of material to 0.5 meter cube, you are doing same amount of work or not?
Yes, sir.
Then energy will be different or same?
सेम।
Sir, energy will be same.
भाई सोच लो, कभी कह रहे हो कि सर 80 में ज्यादा होगी, कभी कह रहे हो 40 में पावर कंजम्पशन कम होगी। आराम से सोच लो, यू टेक 2 minutes टाइम थिंक, बिकॉज दिस इज अ प्रैक्टिकल कोर्स and I teach completely practically, right? My way of teaching is complete practical, so you will feel that you are in the lab itself. Don't worry, I'll make assure this, right? I'll assure this. Yes, you take 2 minutes time and then let me know in which case power will be more and in which case what will be the case in the case of energy. Okay, but about energy, तो यानी कि एनर्जी और पावर सेम है। No worries. So what you I am giving you this homework. You think about these two questions, right? And then I will ask you in my next class. Okay. So maybe you have studied in a BTech that power input, right? Mainly you calculate it using this formula, that is cutting force. FC is your cutting force. That is cutting force component, which we have seen, into velocity or cutting speed mainly. So here what is happening? Shearing and friction, both these things are coming into picture. Shearing is also happening and friction is also happening simultaneously. And material removal rate, how you calculate? That is your W. T naught is your uncut chip thickness and V is your cutting speed. So cutting speed, depth of cut and feed. All these three things gives you material removal rate, means how much volume of the material you are removing, right? So when I am saying 80 meter per minute, right, it means keeping all other parameters same, that is W is same, T naught is same. So what I am doing by changing the cutting speed, I am changing the material removal rate. Is it clear now from this example? I am keeping all other parameters same, that is depth of cut and feed same. I am just changing the cutting speed, that is 40, 60 and 80. So what I am increasing? I am increasing material removal rate. Is it clear? बेटा आप कुछ बोलते ही नहीं हो, yes or no? मुझे पता कैसे चलेगा? Are you there?
फिर से
Yes,
समझाओ
sir.
सर।
बेटा कुछ yes or no बोला करो यार, खाना नहीं खाया क्या, लंच नहीं किया अभी? You had lunch or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
क्या तो आज क्या खाया भाई? जो आवाज ही नहीं निकल रही। ये शुभम,
सर साग और रोटी खाया है अभी।
क्या बात है, क्या बात है। And what about others? चलो सब पहले बताओ what you had in lunch. You people are not responding. Yes, tell me.
दाल एंड राइस।
Nikhil Kashyap, dal and rice. Which particular dal बेटा?
सर मिक्स होता है ना, अब नाम नहीं पता।
चलो वैसे अभी आज का टाइम हो गया है तो आज ये पूछते हैं अभी तुम्हारे से जाते आते, ताकि मुझे पता चले तुम आंसर क्यों नहीं देते हो, क्या क्या खाकर बैठते हो दोपहर को। यस चौहान साहब, आप बताने लगे थे।
सब्जी रोटी सर।